Welcome
Do the
to
three at the same time, yeah?
welcome to episode 3 of Dream.
Episode 3.
Welcome to episode 3 of Dreaming Jaguars. We're just recording now to start now.
Yeah, try and stay where you are if you can.
Okay. So Paul and my path was very similar as we were growing up, even though we've discussed the fact that I'm not spiritual, or I got led away from spirituality, and Paul has said that he's not spiritual. There were similar things that happened. I'd definitely done the Ouija board when I was a child.
Stop scratching the fucking thing.
Okay, take 2. Okay. So Paul and my path was very similar as children, even though we've discussed the spirituality side and my lack of faith and stuff like that. There were times when I was growing up when I used to do the Ouija board. I had a loss of my nan, she died, and a loss of a guy at school. Very early age, was run over by a drink driver, and that kind of led us down a path of trying out the Ouija board. And I remember it working. I don't disagree with the fact that there was definitely something going on there. I can remember contemplating God from a very early age, and I can remember when I was a kid we lived in a house which everyone believed was haunted. Myself, my parents, my brother, and there were various things that went on there, like shadows jumping across the top of the stairs. A friend of mine, when we were very young, we were playing in the side loft and both of us saw an orb. We left that side loft and never went back and never discussed it until we reached our 20s. In fact, I'd forgotten all about it. So, with regards to that side of spirituality, ghosts and things like that, I was open to it as a teenager and I was open to it as a child. I never had any a problem with believing in that stuff. But I suppose my contemplation around God and what all that was about, my contemplation about religion from a very early age with the Bible studies we'd done at school, I found myself becoming despondent towards it. I didn't agree with the things that I was being taught or asked to believe, and I've got the kind of brain that likes to strip stuff down and break it down to be able to understand it. And when I contemplated the God thing, the Christian understanding of a God in heaven with a white beard, my first questions were, this guy was in a completely different country, so why would he be portrayed as a white guy, for starters? That was one of my first questions. Jesus, what was all that about? And I suppose that sent me down a path of questioning. And the stuff that happened around the house, later in my life I learned about memory and how memories can be corrupted. And by the time I reached my 20s, I decided that all of this stuff was corrupted memories or just the exuberance of youth believing that stuff because I wanted to believe it. So the last 12-15 years that we've tried the spirit molecule, the compound, I've had to look at stuff in a different light. I still struggle, but inevitably you're taken to a place, you're given some information, and a lot of that stuff that's been given to me has been needed at the time. There's been discoveries. Fibonacci, for example, never even heard of it, and from the back end of doing that compound, I left that space, and then weeks after I started formulating this mathematical counting when I was trying to get to sleep, and then later discovered that was the Fibonacci cycle. Now I put that down to the compound, and I can't argue the fact that I had been enlightened to something that I had never really considered before. And there's been other occasions where I've had contact with entities and they've given me personal information about my own life. So, you know, even though I do like to argue this stuff, there is still an element in me that can't argue. You know, the facts are being given to me, and sometimes I do try and break it down, but I suppose at the end of the day it's intriguing enough for me to still want to look at it and say, do you know what, there's something behind this veil that normal reality won't allow you to see. And when you've been shown a different reality, when you've been taken to another dimension, whether it's in the brain or whatever, that information is still unarguable. So yeah, may it continue, may I be enlightened more, and yeah, I'm going to continue down this path with Paul, and that's all I'm after, just a little bit of enlightenment. Is that enough?
Yeah, mate. Perfect.
Okay, so if you like the channel, if you like what we're saying, subscribe, like, and tell your friends about it, and get as many people to subscribe to us so that we can take this forward. Brilliant.